Hi, week 8. Assessing, engaging, and intervening with human behavior and social environment. Um, while engaging with your clients, it is very important to just to listen and to observe and to understand what they're saying. So while engaging with them, they may say something. Um, they may explain to you, what's going on in the home. Well, the home is this and this is that. And so you listen, let them finish their sentences, and then you kind of repeat exactly what they said back to them so they know that you were listening and fully engaging with them. So you don't want the client to be rushed. You want to take your time with the client and try to get an understanding of where they're coming from when engaging with them. You want to be very professional and to understand exactly where they're coming from. So this means just taking your time and listening to them and hearing the whole story and not being judgmental. We're there to assist them and not to be judgmental. And the same thing is pretty much when assessing, but more of a once you get that background and once you get that when you feel more comfortable with them to kind of just dig deeper into their background. So that includes finding out where they came from, where they've been, the school, the information. Before I meet with clients, usually I want to know, I kind of do research about the neighborhood, the schools around it, the poverty level, because you want to know exactly who you're talking to. Are there any gangs in the area? Because you want to know exactly what this client may be going through. This client may have to, their kid may have to go through 3 gang zones just to get to school. So if you can't relate or try to relate or understand where they're coming from, you won't be a good social worker. So it's good to do your homework and to understand exactly what the client is dealing with. So you need to investigate their area, their background, possible scenarios, maybe scenarios of them being in a single home and a two-family home to see exactly what they're dealing with. And so when they can feel that you can understand where they're coming from, they're more likely to be able to relate to you. And so when all this is done, they can relate to you. You have a better chance of doing an intervention with them because they know that you understand where they're coming from. So they was like, well, this lady comes here and she has a nice car and her house, but they can see that you can relate to them. You have a story for them. You understand where they're coming from. Then they're most likely to open up. You can understand that they came from a single family household. You can understand that their mom had been an alcoholic, or the neighbor down the street may have a home where they didn't have running water, or she did have running water. So if you can try to relate or find a client, a previous client who had these problems, they can understand and know that you're just not some bougie social worker there to there to judge them. They can understand, they can work with you and know that you are there because you care. So you always have to figure out the area, the client's background, their history, and just do a little research before you get to the client. So this helps you be a better social worker. And you can relate, because if you come in and you can't relate, if you can't get your feet wet or you can't get dirty, they don't understand. For example, when I was a social worker and I went to the home was literally infested with roaches. And so I wouldn't come in, and they didn't have anything, but they were very nice people. So I wouldn't come in with a fur coat on. I would just come in with a regular jacket. I would sit there, even though bugs was crawling around me. I just would sit there and just, give them eye contact and make them feel as comfortable as possible. I already knew they were embarrassed. about the situation. They will apologize, like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, it's fine. We're trying to get you into a better situation. So they were already embarrassed and felt uncomfortable. So why would I, jump and move and act like I was uncomfortable in their environment, an environment that I was leaving soon, but that they stayed in. So you have to put yourself in someone else's position. And this what makes a great social worker. So engaging, you want to, listen and repeat what the client says. Assessing, you want to assess their needs, what they need. Do they need school services? Do they need transportation? Do they need a bus ride? Do they need medical needs? Do the kids need appointments to the doctor? You have to assess exactly what they need. And by assessing these things, you have to know about the client's background, the client's race, the client, where the client is coming from. So these things are very important when dealing with human behavior, human development, and social environment. Thank you.